Hello and welcome to the morning after show presented by Underdog Daily Fantasy Sports. My name is Joshua Reimer. I am joined by none other than Jared Block, who's over on my right. Jared, it's Monday. We talked about it last week. A really long week overall. How was the weekend, man? Because I don't know about you, but I got a lot of time to just relax, take some time off, and I enjoyed it quite a bit.
Yeah, that was my day yesterday before the finals game. Nice weather all weekend for me, so I got to spend a lot of time outside and went to the Brewer game on Saturday. I don't really care if they lose when I'm there, but it was a very, very
Sometimes
uneventful day. I was like, I'd rather not. I mean, sometimes it's cool to have offensive explosions, but the final score was 0-4, and
Oof.
we had some good times in the parking lot, and then just kind of like moseyed around the stadium.
Sometimes half the fun of going to baseball games is just like being at the park and hanging out with buddies and all
Right.
that stuff. Like it's not I mean, yeah, you show up for the game and stuff too, but like I don't know. That's my thoughts on going to baseball games is that like if I'm really rooting on my team, I'll just do it at home. I'm going to the stadium to have an experience and
Right.
glad you were able to hang out with buddies and stuff and have a good time. Yeah, my weekend was very boring, nonchalant, did not do much. Got to relax a lot, which is what I needed, and spend time with family that is still over. So it was a good weekend overall for me. But now we get back into the week, we get back into the grind, and I'm excited, man. That weekend was exactly what I needed to get rejuvenated, revitalized, and get ready to smash this week.
Yeah, sometimes that's all it takes. Yeah, it's a really nice week of sports here. We have a couple days before the game three of the NBA Finals. Got two finals games this week, and we have a lot of baseball to cover. Speaking of, we had one of the craziest. I know we'll get there, but one of the craziest 3 day stretches of home runs. I had to go check because I had to double check counting a couple times. I know that we've been doing this on this show, and we'll get there. But we had one of the craziest weekends of home runs this season, if not over the last 3 or 4 seasons.
Yeah, certainly was an insane weekend. Excited to talk about that once we get to the MLB recap. But first, let's talk about the NHL recap. Go over everything that happened in the NHL over the weekend. Friday night, we had the Rangers win against the Lightning, giving a 2-0 lead to this Rangers team. Feel like the Rangers are coming from behind, man. That no one was expecting this team to put up a fight against the Lightning. Lightning have been favored in every game so far, and the Rangers continue to put up a good run at home. On Saturday, we had the Avalanche win against the Oilers. That pushed that series to 3-0. And then last night we had the Lightning come through finally, get their first win in that series against the Rangers, 2-1 there. Avalanche have the chance to complete the sweep tonight, and if they complete the
Yes.
sweep, I mean they're probably going to be pretty heavily favored. I'm sure they're already pretty heavily favored coming into this finals matchup. But I know, I guess it comes back to that conversation that we had with the Avalanche earlier on, which they swept the Predators, and then we were like, do we think they come in a little bit slow into this next series? They certainly did not come in slow to this next series, but now they're facing off in the conference finals, and they go into the Stanley Cup finals after this. Like, are they going to come in slow against a better team like the Lightning or the Rangers?
I don't know. They just look like they're dominating everywhere, and I know the East has been much, much closer and competitive than the West this season, but we'll see. Nobody's been able to stop the Avalanche, and I don't think it's gonna. Maybe they are a little complacent tonight, but I doubt it. So we'll see if they can sweep tonight.
Yeah, should be interesting. I'm excited to watch that, and well, not watch it. I'm probably not going to watch it, but I'm excited to see what happens, and so excited to see if we can get this series sweep. I don't know. It's going to be a pretty boring day in sports, so maybe I will end up watching it. Who knows? All right, let's talk about some NFL news, Jared. Unless you have anything else to comment on the NHL side of things.
No, not much there. I think that Colorado ends up clinching tonight.
Yeah, I would tend to agree. All right, let's talk about some NFL news. To lead it off, we got the confirmation of Ryan Fitzpatrick retiring, which we kind of all expected, but we got that confirmation, and it'll be exciting to see what the broadcast gig is going to look like for him, either this season or next season. We also got the news that Alex Mack on the 49ers announced his retirement on Friday. I saw a lot of beat reporters making fun of him a little bit, like poking fun at him, saying saying that the one good thing about this is that when it's hot out on a Sunday, the Balls won't have to get a wet quarterback or a wet ball thrown back to them because I guess he
Jeez.
got the ball really sweaty all the time. So there's that. Dernish Johnson back to Cleveland on a 1 year deal. And then last but not least, 94 days till kickoff. I don't know about you, but we were talking about it last night. Single game stuff. We've been sweating out all the finals game in the general chat or in the good skill chat room. It'll be so much fun to do the exact same thing once we get to these really good NFL games.
Yeah, exactly. I'm pumped for it, and we're gonna have a lot of violent games this year. Now, since it is a slow day, uh, it's not really worth noting, but kind of worth noting, I guess. This is the world we live in now, where the NFL is constantly at the top of the news. 11 teams are starting mandatory minicamps this week. So those teams are the Bucks and Packers, as well as a couple others. We do have news and confirmation that both Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers have attended minicamp starting today.
Yeah, we got the quote yesterday from Aaron Rodgers saying that he's always thinking about retirement, which I thought was an interesting quote to throw out there. You're coming into camp for the first time and you say something like that, it's not going to exactly instill confidence anywhere, but it is what it is on that front. Trying to think of, I think I thought there was one other NFL news thing that I wanted to talk about with you here. But honestly, I can't remember what it was. Do you have anything else to comment on the NFL side of things? Oh, that's what it was.
No, I do not.
That's what it was. The Panthers said that the big deterrent in the Jimmy G trade was his big salary. Said they weren't willing to pay the 28 million for him just because that's too much money. And I don't know. What do you think about that? Because I don't like if you look at where that ranks on how much a quarterback is paid, that's not that much money at the end of things.
No, it's not. They also probably don't want to pay two QBs at that same amount. I think Darnold's actually getting like 2 million more than and Jimmy
Yikes.
G is. Actually, not this year, but like the total deal itself earlier on. 18 million this year towards Sam Darnold. So there's a little bit of a difference there. It is the final year of his deal, so maybe if things were different, maybe they're thinking like long term next year kind of stuff. But who knows? I don't think Jimmy G leaves, and I think that it's been, we would have found out a couple months ago if that was the case.
Yeah, I tend to agree. I don't think he'll be the starter, but I don't think he leaves either. So there's that. It'll be exciting to see that quarterback battle between him and Lance at the end of the day. All right. Anything else for NFL, Jared? If not, let's get to the MLB.
No, we're gonna start seeing a lot more stuff here soon. These mini camp things are always fun, and you're gonna see every team post their like 2 second highlight clip, and everybody's gonna get excited and stuff and draft people way too high.
Yeah, for sure. All right, let's move on to MLB recap. That crazy number that we were talking about. There was 125 home runs this weekend. 56 home runs on Friday. That was the big day. We had 30 home runs on Saturday and 39 on Sunday. Lots and lots of home runs, man. That 56 home runs on Fridays breaks the record, right? For the season.
I think it's the season record so far. Yeah. I had to double check and count a couple of times, but that is what it was. So that does remind me because it's been a couple days since we've played MLB DFS, and that was a crazy night where like four or five team stacks went ballistic. I believe the Yankees were one of them, the Blue Jays were another, and then Coors obviously did its thing too. So yeah, it was wild times. 56 home runs is a lot, man. It's
Yeah.
at least two per team when it comes down to it. So. Yeah, that was insane to see. I don't know. I mean, I think that when things like you can tell that's truly summer in MLB season when that stuff kind of starts to happen.
Yeah, so that is so I was looking to see what's the most home runs in a day, and it seems like the record is 62, and I'm trying to see when that was. But in 2019, on May 25th, there was 59 home runs hit. Trailing only 62 homers hit on July 2nd of 2002. There were 16 games played on
Oh,
that July 2nd
yeah.
date. So a little bit of and it was a doubleheader at Fenway, so that makes sense. it's a little bit of a caveat there, but still, 62 is the highest number. So you get pretty close to that with 56. I mean, that's kind of shocking. Let's talk about something else that's shocking. Max Scherzer's dog ends up biting him on the hand. Said his hand is okay. Said that it's not going to affect the rehab time or anything, and he should be a-okay. But people really tried to blow this out of proportion as much as
Oh yeah.
possible. Even the owner of the Mets decided to comment
Yep.
on it on Twitter and say doesn't Max's dog knows not to bite the hand that feeds him. But this guy, like you have this happen to a pitcher on, I don't know, the Guardians, and it's not a story, it's a non-headliner, but it feels like the Mets keep getting these weird injuries, and I feel like that's why this was really almost blown out of proportion to a certain extent.
Yeah, this is the one of the most Mets things ever, for sure.
Yeah, yeah, without a doubt. The story's kind of sad. Like his dog got hurt, and then he was trying to come help his dog, and it was a whole mess. Glad to know that the dog's
Yeah.
okay. Scherzer's okay, and he'll be back. Not soon, but he'll be back with that. This won't affect his rehab time at all. On the other side of news, got the news that Miguel Andujar requests to be traded. Rookie or runner-up rookie of the year in the AL in 2019. And yeah, I don't know. I felt kind of sad when I saw this, but he got the news that he was going to get DFA'd, and I guess after that he told Boone, "I don't want to be on this team anymore." So request to be
Yep.
traded. He's requested this before, so I don't think it gets fulfilled. I mean, he's on a rookie deal, so he has no leverage right now. But I don't know. It's at least interesting. This used to be a very talented bat, and it's sad that he doesn't get the opportunity with the Yankees because of guys like. I mean, we bring in guys like Matt Carpenter that are just knocking the cover off the ball. It's hard to give a guy
Right.
like Andrew Hard, who's not the best defensively, but is still a pretty solid hitter. You just kind of got to go with Carpenter over him, and that's what the decision came down to.
Yeah, it's dog eat dog world out there, especially in New York, where you guys can bring in a bunch of guys with all with any amount of payroll, and you're not really necessarily relying on some of the guys from the farm system, like a guy like Andujar, who has been seeking a trade since the end of the season last year. So he's probably just been fed up with it, just wants the opportunity to play, and I think he knows how good he is. I'm sure the team does as well. It's just one of those spots where the Yankees are just so deep, even though they've had so many injuries.
Yeah, it's insane. Well, I mean, we got Stanton back yesterday, so like that's why he got DFA'd. He got DFA'd so Stanton could come back to the major league roster. Um,
Mm.
I don't know. Should be interesting to see what happens in that. That might be a deadline trade where the Yankees try to make a move, but I honestly don't know what you get for this Yankees team that isn't going to be super expensive. Last year for this Yankees team, we were thinking, oh, they'll probably go get a starting pitcher. Even a middle of the rotation guy would be good for this team. But they have the best ERA in all of baseball right now. They have one of the best bullpens in all of baseball. Clay Holmes, the new closer, has been incredible. I found something funny that was like, who would have thought to pair up Clay Holmes, Jamison Tyone, and Garrett Cole on a team? And I don't know if you knew, but all of them came from the Pittsburgh Pirates, Jared. So,
Oh, wonderful! Yeah,
yeah, they were all in the Pirates at one time. It was funny to me because it points out the Pirates' incompetence at some points. But anyway, Yankees on a crazy win streak. I don't think we'll get to talk about this anytime soon, but or anywhere here, but Yankees 6-game win streak, and since starting the season 7-6, they have been 35-9. Jared, best record in all of baseball. Been an insane run for this Yankees team. I'm thrilled. I'm excited about them. We'll see what they can do once it gets deeper into the summer. Hopefully, no injuries. Knock it on wood. All right, let's keep talking about everything here. Cole Calhoun DFA'd. Angels put Ward back on the IL once again. What happened to Ward this time? What's the injury designation?
hamstring.
Oof. Is that the same? Was it a hamstring last time too?
I I think he's had a couple of them. He had a groin and neck injury.
Groin
So
and neck. Ooh,
yeah, I don't know. I
nasty.
mean, it's just I truly wonder what his season could be like if he actually stayed healthy.
Yeah.
You're expecting at least one IL um stint for the entire year for him at least, but it just seems like it's once a month now.
Yeah, it's pretty consistent. It's insane. So hopefully he gets better soon. Sad to see Cole Calhoun DFA'd, but I guess it was coming at this point. He hasn't been hitting that well. Let's talk about this next piece. Umpire stopped Dave Roberts from using a position player to pitch because the game was too close. Here's my question. I didn't see this happen over the weekend. How close was the game?
Yeah, so you cannot have somebody come in to pitch as a position player if the game is less than 5 runs, which it was 9-4.
Wow. Okay. So I mean, who was the position player? Do we know?
Zach McKinstry.
Ah, that would have been fun. I don't know. I wish we would have got it, man. Who cares? Why does it matter? Is that like a rule in
It is a
baseball?
rule. It's an actual
Oh,
rule, but most people are saying like, who cares? Let's let like it's their choice. Let whoever
yeah.
pitch, like they want to pitch.
Yeah, exactly. It's their choice. Why so does that mean like I don't know. Does that mean like I think like why is Shohei pitching then? Cuz if Shohei's a
Oh
position
yeah,
player,
people are we're mad about that as well.
yeah, I mean that makes no sense. So anyway, very interesting little tidbit right there. I'm curious to see if the MLB says anything. Probably doesn't, but will be interesting to see. Sunday Night Baseball was last night. No one was watching it because everyone watches the finals, but we'll fill you in on what happened. Cardinals
Yeah.
ended up winning in 11 innings from their young guys. Yepes and Gorman both get the job done for them. Justin Steele pitched a game, man. I think he went like 7 innings deep in this game, and I don't know, been a sneaky piece for this Cubs team. But win 5-3, take the rubber game for this Cardinals team. Good news for them. Cubs keep competing, man. Like I keep seeing this Cubs team stick around, and I'm not saying they're going to make playoffs or anything, but at the very least, Wilson Contreras is going to earn himself a bag. He's probably going to become the
Yeah,
highest paid highest paid catcher in all of baseball after this season.
I would think so. I think that what JT Realmuto's probably up there as the
Mm-hmm.
top 2 or 3, maybe even top one. But yeah, Wilson Contreras is playing very well this season. The only guy that really stuck around from the tail end of everything there. Um, 23 and 32. I mean, that's still not the best record, but it shouldn't. It feels like it's a lot closer than that.
Yep. JT Realmuto is the top paid catcher by a considerable margin. Yasmani
Yeah.
Grandal's number two at 18.2 million. JT Realmuto at 23.8 million. I think Wilson Contreras could very easily earn himself a $25 million contract at the end of the day. How about Norman or Nolan Gorman, man? I
Yep.
keep wanting to call him Norman Gorman because I think it's like a funny name, but I know that's not it.
Mhm.
Nolan Gorman has been something else for this Cardinals team. Since coming up in 2022, he's batting 304, has 3 home runs, 10 RBIs. His OPS is at
Mhm.
950, Jared. This guy, just like Yepes, has been a revelation for this team and has really helped the bats overall. Is he's not a righty, is he? Is he a righty or a lefty? No,
No,
he is a
Gorman's a
lefty.
lefty.
Yeah, he is. So I mean,
Yep.
we always talked about it. This Cardinals team needed more lefties in the lineup. They kind of got that with Nolan Gorman, and he's done a fantastic job so far.
Yeah, he's really stepped up. I've been talking to MLB members about this guy. It actually happened to be like the one weekend that you were off on that Friday and Monday where he came up and played, and we got him for a little like at that minimum stretch a little bit. Can't do that anymore, but
No.
he's definitely going to be a guy that you can target and play and watch out for because he's been part of the reason that they've actually been able to kind of like St. Louis went through that stretch in the late month of May where they just weren't hitting very well. All those guys were in a slump outside of Paul Goldschmidt, and he's definitely stepped up and been a guy. Like as a Brewers fan, am terrified of the St. Louis team in general. In general, so now when their young guys are coming up and doing well, it's really scary to watch.
Yes, I completely agree. It is really scary to watch. So we'll have to keep track on that Cardinals team, but they seem to be doing pretty solid. All right, one more thing to talk about here. Phillies scored 26 runs on Angels pitchings over the weekend, and yesterday it looked like the Angels are finally going to break the streak. They've gone 9 straight winless before yesterday, but Bryce Harper
Really?
comes and
Oh my.
yeah,
Oh
yeah,
yeah, you're
dude,
right. They've lost 11 in a row.
yeah, so sorry. Yesterday was 10 in a row. But then Bryce Harper came in and said, "We're not losing today," and hit a grand slam home run to tie things up. And then after
Mm.
that, the Angels just kind of fell apart. I know this team was kind of hyping up Raciel Iglesias as their closer, but I'm sorry if you believe that Iglesias can still be a closer right now. That's just not true. It's not the case anymore. Raciel Iglesias should not be a major league level closer, in my opinion. And again, like I said, this pushes back the Angels to now 11 straight losing. There is this graphic. Do you know the baseball account? This image preceded unfortunate events. This MLB image preceded unfortunate events.
I don't know if I have.
Oh, I'm gonna have to show it to you. It's funny. Anyway, they put up an image like it'll be like the base is loaded for some team, and then someone hits a grand slam right after that. But they show the moment beforehand, and they showed an image of the MLB released that the Dodgers, the Angels, the Yankees, and the Mets were all at the top of their divisions, and they were like big league hitting or something like that.
Mm.
And Yankees, Dodgers, and Mets still holding firm, but this Angels team has plummeted. Now 8.5 games back from the Astros. They are now below 500. I mean, we were talking so highly about this Angels team. And now to go 0-11 for their last 11 games, easily the coldest team in all of baseball.
Yep.
What do you do here, man? Like this is getting into scary territory.
It's very scary, and what's even scarier is that they're on tonight's slate facing Boston. So,
Oh
yeah, a battle of the cold teams. We'll see who
yeah,
comes out of
seriously.
that. Is this? Is this? Can you come back from 11 games in June?
I don't know, man. Like that's a lot of games.
This is tough territory now.
Yeah, I mean, you're almost. If you get behind the Astros by double digits, you're not coming back to win the division for sure. And so you're relegated to that wild card. And it looks like as of right now, the AL East is going to have a pretty firm hold on those three wild card spots. They
Right.
could win all three of them with Blue Jays, Rays, and Red Sox. So that'd be, I don't know, man. Like it's looking like dangerous territory for this Angels team. Like I said, they need to get to winning and get to winning now. Syndergaard on the mound for today's slate,
Oh
facing
no.
off against Michael Waka. So who knows?
Oh
Syndergaard
no.
could either come out here and pitch 8 innings of greatness, or could come out here and get absolutely destroyed in 2 innings. There's really not much in between for Noah Syndergaard right now, but we'll have to see what happens for him. All right, Jared. Last but not least, Braves had quite a weekend, quite a good weekend over the span of 4 days, including Thursday. Had a great series against the Rockies, a low-scoring series against the Rockies. I don't know if you saw, but the series kind of turned into almost a pitcher's duel throughout Saturday and throughout Friday, I think. Barely any runs scored either days for the Braves and the Rockies. But, Braves starting to pick things up, starting to look a little bit better, starting to look like they can make a conversation for the wild card. I think they're just outside of the wild card right now by a game or two. But what are your thoughts on this Braves team?
Uh, I think that this is just a classic example of a team hitting in cores really well. I don't know if they are necessarily. Maybe this is the Kickstarter that they need. They are sitting above 500 now, finally. But this Mets team, it's a very similar situation to Astros Angels. I don't know. The Braves, if they can get it going, then I think that I believe in them a little bit more. But right now, they're outside of the playoff picture.
Yep, just
Maybe they'll get
barely.
the last spot. Yeah.
Yeah, they're just barely outside right now. I think they're, like I said, one or two
Oh, they
games
are one
back.
out. Yeah. Yeah.
And 2 games back in total from the wild card. So we'll have to see what happens with this Braves team. I don't know. I'd like to believe in them, but Olsen has not been hitting as great as he should be, and I don't know. Should be interesting to see what that
Yeah.
Braves team can
Well,
do.
remember that that's the only player that they missed
Mm-hmm.
from the starting lineup. So, like,
Yeah.
the fact that, and they were like saying, oh, they're making the case that, Olsen, and I believe this too, I guess, for the first part of the season coming in, that Olsen could be the guy to get that job done, but it really is, um, it's really crazy what Freddie Freeman was able to do for them. And that's, again, another reason why the Braves built a ballpark around Freeman. and
Yeah.
it paid off. And so I don't know. I think Olsen will get it together, but maybe he stepped in shoes that are too big for him.
Yeah, potentially. I don't know. Should be interesting when it's all said and done. All right, let's move on, Jared. Let's talk about the no. Anything else for baseball? If not, we'll talk about the NBA Finals.
No, let's go ahead.
Let's do it. Let's talk about the NBA Finals. What an entertaining finals it was for 2.5 quarters. Can we say that? You want to maybe three if you want to get a little bit feisty, but a boring fourth quarter at the end of the day because Golden State came out in the third quarter and dominated, won that quarter 35-14. This was a physical game. There was a lot of chippiness. There was a lot of pushing and shoving. We had a technical on Draymond very early. A very physical game, and finally get some of that chippiness that I was expecting from Draymond. That chippiness and that Steph called it passion, and I guess that's a good word for it. That passion really trying to think of the right word, energizes this team completely, and you kind of saw that last night.
Yeah, you saw basically Draymond Green just say, "I'm going to do what you guys do better than you are," and that's being more physical, potentially getting away with some other things, chirping every single play. We can't really tell what's going on the broadcast usually, but you could literally see most of like I watched some of the recaps and the gameplay, and it just seems like every single second his mouth's open saying something to somebody. So that's what it takes. This is where the finals experience comes in because I don't think that the Celtics, and this is me, this part, like normally I would fight against this, but this is me definitely being biased against the Celtics. They are extremely they just act like babies whenever something happens to them.
Yeah.
And you see it from Tatum, you see it from Brown, you see it from Grant Williams, especially Marcus Smart. Like they all have guys that when something happens, they just hit a switch and they complain immediately. And you saw that yesterday. Not saying that that's a bad thing because everybody in the league does that, but like when it comes to the finals and when it comes to Draymond, he's not going to take that shit. So,
Yeah.
I mean, I thought immediately that Brown might have gotten like any other game that's probably a double technical, right? So
Yes.
you probably see some of the guys out. We also saw Gary Payton almost hit the same injury on landing on the same elbow
Yeah.
early on in the game as well. So this series is only going to get chippier as it goes on, and I think Boston had a wake up call last night, and they said, "Oh, wow, this Warriors team actually, you know, this is why they're so good."
Yeah, I think the Celtics team came in just like the media did, and came in and saying, "Oh, we had such a good game one. We had such a good game one without Tatum scoring. It's gonna be smooth sailing going into Boston, and we're just gonna kind of take this game half-heartedly because it seemed almost all game this team was playing with 70%. Nine
Yeah,
combined turnovers between Jason Tatum and Marcus Smart. At the end of the day, turnovers that cost the Celtics team were the reason they lost. I mean, you chalk up everything and you look how this team played overall. I would not say they played a bad game. It's just at the end of the day, you can't turn over the ball that much in the finals. You just can't. This Celtics team had 13 combined turnovers between the starters. And to put some perspective on that, the Warriors had 7 combined turnovers. So it just speaks to how bad this was turnover wise for the Celtics team. And I don't know. You can't, like you said, a lot of complaining happened in that game. And it's kind of the Warriors just took control of things in that third quarter.
yeah, you could say that the I don't ever want to bring the refs into it, but you could say that they were fighting for Golden State a little bit too
A
on
little
that one,
bit.
just to make things a little bit, I don't want to say balance the scales by any means because Golden State definitely imploded in the fourth quarter of Game One, but the Celtics imploded in Game Two and Quarter Three. So I think it just comes down to again, like this playoffs this season have come down to if you are not making threes or if you get in one single drought or if the other team you're facing hits like six threes in a row. I don't think you can come back from that in
Yeah.
this NBA right now. So you bring up a good point. Tatum and Smart, the actual numbers, that is the difference of the night because the Warriors were able to get 19 points off or 18 points off of turnovers in this game. So
Yeah.
it's basically, you know, tie game if that goes the other way. So I think that I'm just really curious to see what happens with Robert Williams moving forward because they showed today or showed last night that the Warriors played small ball and I
Hmm.
don't think Boston was able to match that. You saw Kevon Looney play 21 minutes, which was probably the smallest amount of minutes that he has seen since before the Mavs series, probably in Memphis, and that's probably going to be the strategy moving forward. And Boston can't win with 21 minutes from Grant Williams. They
Yeah.
just can't.
No, they certainly cannot. I completely agree there. You also can't win from three-year starters scoring 6 combined points. Marcus Smart, Robert Williams,
Yeah.
and Al Horford have
Oh man,
combined six
Stephen A
points
was
in.
on one last night.
Yeah, I mean, like at the end of the day, you talk about game one, and the difference between game one and game two is that while Tatum didn't show up for the Celtics team in game one, the rest of the team certainly did show up, right? Jaylen Brown had a night, Marcus Smart, Williams, Horford, especially. All of them had amazing games. And Tatum showed up for this game too. It's just no one else did. Even to a certain extent, Jaylen Brown shot 5 for 17. So like, not even he really showed up. That's a big credit to Draymond Green's defense because they had Green on Brown a lot of the night to start out, and that kind of put him in a stretch where he just couldn't shoot the ball almost. So a very interesting case here for the Celtics team. We head back to Boston for game three. Series tied 1-1. What are your predictions? How are we going to come out of Boston? Like, what are you expecting this series to be at once we get to game five?
Yeah, I do think that the Warriors have the ability to take one on the road here. I don't think it will be game three. But right now, at this very moment, Boston has a slight advantage because they technically have home court for one game, and that's game three.
Yep.
If they win, then you can make cases that things are swinging their way. But if they lose, this is just as bad as Golden State losing game one, if not more critical. Because once you give Golden State the clear green light, they'll be able to sniff that out. So right now, the Celtics come in. Like obviously, Golden State has home court coming into game one. They lost that. Game three is going to be the most pivotal game of the series, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think that at the end of the day, the Celtics team needs to win both games. If they don't win both games, Warriors win it all. Because I think at the end of the day,
Agreed.
you give this Warriors team back their home court advantage, and that's that. It's over in my opinion. Like because going into game five, they'll have 2 games at home. Celtics will have 1 game. I think if you give this Warriors team back the home advantage, then it's just about over. So Celtics are in big time win mode here. If they lose game three, I mean that's when things get really bad. You could be talking about a 6 game win or potentially even a 5 game win for this Warriors team. But I don't know. Right now, I'm leaning Warriors overall, and I'll be excited to see how things look in Boston. I'm curious. Do we have odds on what the Boston game will be, or what the odds will be in Boston for game
Yeah.
three?
Yep. We have 3.5 points towards the Celtics right now.
Interesting.
The Warriors are minus 115 outright for the championship.
Yeah, I like that. I placed a bet on minus 115 already. I saw that last night and couldn't resist. I think I just excuse me. I needed that price, so I'm excited to get them at that price. I still think they win in 7, potentially even seeing them winning in 6 now. So we'll just have to see how it works out for this Warriors team. Jared, anything else in the NBA that we need to talk about before getting to our dog days of summer?
The only thing that really people won't talk about until like 3 months from now is that Quin Snyder stepped down and resigned over the weekend, so he will not be the Jazz head coach anymore.
Interesting. Wonder who that Jazz team is going to bring back, and more importantly, wonder which one are they going to get rid of? Is it going to be Mitchell or Gobert? Because seems like the writing's on the wall. One of those two are getting traded, and I don't know if you saw this, but I saw a potential Westbrook for Mitchell trade getting floated around, and I don't
Oh,
know how that
you
actually
can't tell me
works.
that. You can't tell me that Westbrook's going to Utah. No
I
shot.
I don't know, man. I'm just
He
saying,
hates
like
that fan base so much.
that's what I'm saying, man. I agree with you. I'm just saying that's what I heard over the weekend. That's where
Okay.
Lakers
All right.
Twitter was at this weekend. So who knows what's actually going to happen?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
Lakers have said
Okay.
that they seem pretty keen on keeping Westbrook and trying to figure things out. So who
I think they
knows?
will.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you see? We won't stay on this much longer because I know we're a little bit over time right now, and we have other things we need to go get done. But did you see Westbrook's comments over the weekend about being a first ballot Hall of Famer?
No.
He was like, "Duh, I'm obviously a first ballot Hall of Famer. The triple doubles speak for themselves." And I don't
I
know. It
agree with
came
him.
off as super
No, I
arrogant
agree.
to me. I agree, but it just came off as arrogant after having like his worst season ever. So that's
Well,
at least how I saw it in my eyes.
yeah, I mean that is a little bit strange, but no, I mean you got to stand up for yourself, I guess. And I don't know, people give like, yeah, it was the worst season, and of course it has to be the worst season in the biggest light in the
Yeah.
world. So I don't know, still think he's really good. I mean,
Uh,
I believe in him for a little
Okay,
bit
I'm
longer.
I'm surprised about that, but yeah, I agree. I believe in him too, and I think at the end of the day, like things will get back on track for him. All right, Jared, let's move on to our dog days of summer. This is going to be a segment presented by Underdog Fantasy Sports. We greatly appreciate them for sponsoring us. They keep the lights on over here, and so because they keep the lights on over here, we go to their platform, highlight some plays that we like a lot. And Jared, we've been a little bit on in fuego with the picks recently over at
Yeah.
Underdog. We have been smashing the last few days, and hopefully we have another chance to smash today. Even though we only get MLB and it's a little bit smaller of a slate.
Yep, that's right. It is a small slate today. Not doing NBA picks. I can't wait for the stuff that we have planned for best ball NFL draft season on Underdog. It's going to be great. So
Yeah.
more news on that here shortly in this month, I think. What I will do today, I'll probably just be that guy and take the cop out. We're gonna take Christian Javier over 5 strikeouts. I don't know why that number's where it is.
Can I take the under on Hunter Green's pitch count? And does that count if it's a rain out?
I don't think that
I
that
don't
counts.
think I
No.
don't think so either. But I think that'd be one of those taco bets if it did end up counting. All right, I am going to take. Hold on, I want to check one thing before I do end up taking this pick, just because now that we're on a little bit of a streak, I wanna make sure we keep that streak going, keep it alive here, and I am going to end up taking. Yeah, we're gonna go. Where is it? Hold on. We are going to go Corey Seager over. Uh, hmm. We're gonna go Corey Seager over a half a run. I like the bet against Cal Quantrill, one of the worst pitchers on this slate. At the end of the day, 5.6
Yep.
xFIP. I don't know how you feel about your boy Jared, but I think he gets into a little bit of trouble against his Texas team.
Yeah, I got this right last week, but Corey Seager won. Like it. This is just an easy spot.
Yeah, I tend to agree. It is a pretty easy spot. All right, Jared, let's get out of here. Any final thoughts?
No, just a smaller day today. I don't really know why there's such a lull and everything. Why we have so little games or something, but I guess we're
Mm-hmm.
gearing up for big road trips on Tuesday, and we'll see you all here in a couple hours for the member only podcast. We'll be back on Twitch later this evening for 30 to lock.
Yep, we'll be back for 30 to lock. And like Jared said, MLB podcast. I don't know, Jared, what are we running on for MLB podcast? Is it going to be the 5:10 start time or the 4:40 start time? We're not going to
Uh,
start early because we think that game's going to get postponed, right?
I would tend to side with we're starting a little bit later.
Yes. So we'll be starting a little bit later for that member only podcast, but make sure to keep an eye out. We'll have the announcements out there of when we're exactly going to go live, and I always tweet it out as well. So make sure to keep an eye out for that. And thank you all for joining. We greatly appreciate it. Make sure to come out with us tomorrow morning. And as always, my name is Joshua Reimer. Good morning and good skill.